Real life, I'm not happy 247.
But if you know me and I don't know you, to you, I am a celebrity.
There is always a reason to love. People that say they love unconditionally for no reason, it's a big lie.
Mastermind Podcast.
A show where we give you nothing but nuggets.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our exciting podcast session. Today, we're having an exclusive interview with none other than the host himself, the founder of Mastermind Podcast, Adoration Bizure. Don't go anywhere. You have to listen to this interview because it's going to be exciting. Hello and welcome, Adoration.
Thank you so much, Tafu. Thank you for, can I say, having me, right?
Yes.
I'm used to interview people, so we'll see how it goes today. That I'm the one now who's being interviewed.
Today is the other way around.
Today is the other way around.
The viewers are going to get excited today because they want to know who is Adoration.
Yeah.
They've seen you interviewing people, in various topics and sessions. But today we want to know more about our host. And, we're going to be having different sessions, but today we want to mainly focus on your career. Mm-hmm. We want you to tell the audience, your career journey. So maybe let me start or begin by saying that, can you please share your career journey with the audience, how you rose up until now that you've got a podcast?
All right, so like you are saying, we are going to focus more on my career, and next sessions, I think you are also taking me different sessions, right?
Yes.
Okay. So in I'm a journalist by profession, right?
Interesting.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I've been into journalism since 2010. That's when I started journalism. Yes. And then when I came to the UAE, I did different jobs. Mm-hmm. And right now I'm in aviation, but if I'm to define myself, I define myself as a journalist.
Interesting.
Yes. And I've been into journalism since 2010, as I said. Mm-hmm. And I've been in mainstream journalism for 9 years. I worked for Zim Papers for 9 years until I then moved to the UAE. Okay. And I also, when I first came to the UAE, and then I went to Qatar.
Oh, interesting.
So in the first 9 years of my journalism career, I was working for a publication that is called H Metro. It's under the Zim Papers table. Oh. So I joined H Metro in 2010, I think a few months after the publication it started. Oh. So
you're basically the pioneers.
I can't really call myself a pioneer of H Metro because at that time I was still being mentored.
Oh, okay.
I had just joined as an intern, but I was part of the group that was pioneering. So it's safe to also say that I was, but I think it would be a big crown for me or big shoes for me to wear, because the people that were grooming me at that time were qualified journalists, were experienced journalists, and for me, I was a student at that time, but I was part of that group. Oh. Yeah, I was part of that group, and I had the opportunity to rub shoulders with the great journalists that are in Zimbabwe right now, the likes of Robert Mkondiwa, Trust Koza. My editor was Lawrence Moyo. Okay. Charles Mshinga later on joined as my deputy editor sometime later, and all those guys. This is like the creme de la creme of journalism, even up to now in Zimbabwe. Oh. Some of these names that I'm mentioning to you, they are big journalists in Zimbabwe, and I was privileged to be part of that team. Even though I was a student, but I was still part of that team. Okay. And Nigel Funde and the rest, and the other guys who were, top journalists who groomed me to become a journalist that I am today.
Interesting. Wow. Wow. Speaking about journalism, maybe just to ask you that, is it by profession or literally it's a passion? And if it's a passion, definitely I know that you've really worked extremely hard to get where you are. Probably you've had some achievements, because I've seen they give awards to journalists in Zimbabwe. By any chance, would you have been part of the people that are recognized, for change in the media industry? It might be in Zimbabwe or globally.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay, for me to be a journalist, it's, I think for most journalists, it has to be by passion.
Okay.
Yeah. And the passion that I always had, ever since I was young, was to just convey information. I used to be someone who wanted to, if I get to know something, I want someone else to know about it. Yeah, maybe if I want to put it as Mapua or whatever, but I had that passion in me. I would say, if I get to know something, I also, something meaningful or something positive, I also want someone to have that information. So it's like a drive that I've always had in me.
Okay.
And that's why you see, I was not only in journalism, I was also a filmmaker. Because I also did the 3 films. Is it 3 or 4? Deception, Camouflage. Yeah, 3 films that were premiered in Zimbabwe.
Okay.
Yeah, and in those films I wrote the scripts. In some of them I directed them.
Okay.
Some of them I was also part of the cast as well.
You're multi-talented.
For the films, I can't really say it was multi-talent. It was mainly because of the budgets on some of the productions.
Okay.
Because I had to make sure that, I just have to make things work based on the budget that I was having. So I would find myself doing other things in the production. So that was it. So going back to the issue of passion, it did not start when I just started working in the newsroom. No, it started way back when I was young, because I still remember when I was young. I always tell people this story. I was a storyteller, and I used to gather people at my house when I was a very young boy. And my grandfather, my grandfather was like my best friend. Sometimes he would tell us stuff, and then I would want to tell my friends. So you see, it started a long time ago.
Exactly.
So I would always want to make sure that my friends, they would,
what you've been told.
Yeah, they hear about we call them fairy tales, that my granddad used to tell us. So because of that passion that I used to have of making sure that the info, I was gonna say, I want my friend to know, I want my friend to know. So I think that is where it really started. Yeah, that is where it really started. And also achievement. You also mentioned something about achievement. I'm actually an award-winning journalist in Zimbabwe.
Interesting.
I got an award from the from one pageant, the Zimbabwe Models Award. And they award me with an award. I think it was 2016. Somewhere there.
Wow, guys, I'm actually sitting with an award winner here.
It's something that I do not take lightly, that I got, and I'm humbled by the award. And
that is quite interesting. Earlier on, you spoke about having 3 films. Would you love to tell the audience, like about the page or the name of your media company? And also, speaking about that, I would like also for you to explain to the audience that you were in the journalism industry, you went into the filming industry. Then it comes the question, at what turning point did you decide to then launch the podcast where we are today, Mastermind? And what really inspired you from journalism to filmmaking and to also being the host and the owner of the podcast?
Okay, so my media company, it's called Bizure Media, right? It's called Host Media. It has been a show company for a very long time.
Interesting.
Yeah. I just registered it back home and I just had the file. And then I think after some time, I started doing events. Like I just bought some equipment and then I'll do some events. And the back home when I was still back in Zimbabwe.
Okay.
And then what else? And then I started to collaborate with other. When I started filming, I then started to collaborate with other filmmakers who were already experienced. I did a production with Roalia Films. I did with this one by Mr. Zuzi. I don't remember his company. Okay. But he also had a media company, so we collaborated on some of the films that I did with my company. And the company is called Kuzharwa. And people always ask me, why
exactly. Why Kuzharwa Media? What's the inspiration behind the naming?
Yeah,
you know?
So Kuzharwa is the name of my granddad.
Oh.
When I was telling you, I told Zandano.
So he's literally your inspiration, right?
So my sekulu was called Kuzharwa Oga. His name is Kuzharwa Oga Bizure. Like he was Mama Wawana Detwao, he was
the only child.
He was the only child. I had a sister, and Nema step.
Okay.
But you were in Kuzharwa Oga. You see,
it's quite unique.
Yeah, it's a unique name. So I went to Kuzharwa Oga So Bizure. So for me to honor him, because he was my guy, he was my homie.
He should be so proud of you. I know.
Yeah, then I decided to call my company Kuzharwa. Kuzharwa Media. And so that's how it started.
It came about.
And the podcast is something that me and my late wife, Rugare, we always wanted to have a podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
When we were still together, she always wanted to have a podcast. But the thing is, the resources at that time were limiting us and stuff. But it was a brainchild of me and her. It's not just me. But of course, it's now under Kuzharwa Media and all. But this is a brainchild of what we've always wanted to do, and I'm grateful wherever she is. I'm sure she's just proud of me.
I am very certain she's so proud of you, and just looking down and saying, "Go, go, go, Idol." Yeah, that's the good part. You know, it brings. Marriage comes with a certain blessing.
Yeah, true.
Support and you get the vision and you run with it. That's very nice. So going into the podcast, how do you come up with content, with topics? And speaking of it, you have interviewed quite known people, if I can say so. How do you get to be in touch with people that are well known and famous, and how do you see what inspires you to sit and come up with content and ideas, that inspire your audience?
Okay, so with the podcast is called Mastermind, right?
Yes.
So Mastermind, we normally want to deal with things that inspire people. We normally want to deal with things that we believe that we give life nuggets to our audience. That's the aim. Of course, sometimes we digress and we also bring humor that maybe from it and stuff. But the main purpose, the main objective of what we do, what we are doing is we want to give life nuggets to people. We want someone to listen to the podcast and say, the interview that I listened to, the person who was talking was a genius, because it's a mastermind podcast.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And people are supposed to draw inspiration. They're supposed to draw ideas. They're supposed something that they did not know about a certain subject or about something. They're supposed to be they come out knowing something. That's the main idea of the Mastermind Podcast. Of course, sometimes, like I said, we digress. We fail to achieve that objective, because if you have to go through our all our interviews, no one but the objective, the bigger picture of the podcast is to make sure that people learn something out of it.
Okay, and you know, speaking about people learning something out of the podcast, podcasts always come with comments. People react differently. Aungafanze munhu wese or haungataure zvinhu zvinoda kuteererwa nemunhu wese. So basically, how do you choose your target audience? And also, speaking of my comments, are there any negative comments that come probably, and how do you handle them? Because you're a human being, definitely. If someone posts a comment that is nasty, you know, cyberbullying, how do you react to that?
Because the podcast is opinion based, right?
Yes.
But the person, the guest that will be an engaged interviewer is saying their opinions.
Okay.
So if someone who is viewing the podcast then also writes their opinions in the comment section, then we just have to accept that it's their opinion, because everything that is going on, it's not like it's a law. It's just opinion based.
Okay.
It's just opinion based. And so even if someone cannot for me, and this will not affect, but I don't know my guess maybe affect, because what has to drive you when you are doing anything in life is your objective. That is what I believe.
Yes.
What is it? What's the agenda that you're trying to push? Do you have an agenda? Are you getting to the agenda that you want to push? So we yes, some of my viewers we also take into account language tower.
Okay.
And the criticism, if it is positive, definitely we have to make sure we improve and make sure it is but if it is just that talk, then we
just leave it as it is.
Just leave it.
Cyberbullying exists.
For me, cyberbullying
Affect as such. Okay.
Actually, not far because we should not an interaction with it. I think it comes from the background that I have
as a journalist.
Because the newspaper that I used to work for, Metro, at that time, typisa. So people write newspaper, but ourselves at that time, I have to tell you, we were selling like hotcakes. I still remember there are some editions where my editor, Mr. Valensmore, would instruct the paper to be reprinted because it would have been sold out only in the morning, and then the paper would be reprinted because of controversy, because of those kind of critics. So for me, based on that background, cyberbullying is
okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. You handle the audience quite well. And if I could ask,
you also asked about musicians, and
yes. I spoke of the musicians and the famous people that you have interviewed. So, like, you can just tell the audience how you relate to them. Probably there are people out there that wonder, how does Ado do it to call, you have been with the likes of Mighty T, Mama V, Nasha, David.
No, I think it's mainly, some of them, they're just relations that I used to have with them before. Yeah.
Okay.
Some of them, they are relations that I used to have with them before. And some of them, like your credentials, was that this guy has been a journalist before.
Okay.
So they respect your hongo accept your interview. And yeah, it's like that. And then that's it. Of course, there are some people that we also want to interview that who are no access to. When we hope one day maybe more to us or to be our guests, and we do not only focus on prominent people, on well-known people, because we believe nuggets do not only come from prominent people.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's
there are people,
so true.
There are people out there who are running successful business, but no one knows them.
Exactly.
And if you have the chance to have them on the podcast, interview them on the podcast, someone can actually benefit from
those people.
From those people,
because they've got the knowledge. You could inspire the people out there.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's so true. That's so true. So like, if you could like rewind time, go back in time, what would you tell your younger self that you were supposed to achieve, or maybe what you dreamt of achieving, you have already achieved it right now? But is there anything that you could tell your younger self to inspire the person that you are right now?
A lot. A lot of things that I would tell my younger self.
Okay.
Yeah, but I did not see that question coming. But yeah, I believe because in every stage in life that you find yourself in, I believe there are certain things that how can I put it? In every stage in life, you're on go whenever you look back, that's when you can see maybe maybe it doesn't so. So yeah, I'm sure there are a lot of things that I would really tell myself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. I can go on and talk about a lot of things with Adoration, guys. And I know you've got lots of sessions are going to come up, and you're going to know about Adoration and what he does. So right now, we just want to hear some concluding words. What would you like to tell the audience in terms of career that would inspire them? Maybe there's someone out there who doesn't know what to do or how to start. Can you just say some motivating words to help them, start their career, start their passion, and, keep soaring?
Okay. I think what I can tell someone out there is you have to start from where you are. Start with the knowledge that you have and start with the resources that you have, or else you are not going to start.
Okay.
Because right now, even if you are to look at companies that are on stock exchange or multi-millionaire companies or anything like that, they still have things that they want to achieve or want to have in their companies. Okay. So for you, I'm not going to start just because I'm or if you just going to have that mentality, it means you're not going to start anything.
Exactly.
So you have to start from where you are, and the second thing is you have to be consistent.
Okay. Very true.
You have to be consistent in your career, and you have to be intentional about it.
Yes.
And you have to make sure that as you are doing whatever you are doing, how does it contribute to who you want to become?
Okay.
Career-wise, how does this contribute to what I want to become? Or what I want to achieve after everything. So my last words would be consistent and start where you are.
Wow. There you have it. He said, be consistent and start where you are. Don't give up. Start with what you have and don't procrastinate. It was a pleasure interviewing the host himself. Oh, what a privilege. What a privilege. He's the one who usually interviews the guests, but today I had the honor of interviewing our host and founder, Adoration. So if you have any questions that you want to ask Adoration, The comment section.
Yes.
So I think, guys, we'd like to just encourage them to subscribe,
Yeah.
to like. I believe more sessions are coming up.
Definitely, more sessions are coming up. We have started with career, right?
Yes.
What are the next ones, maybe?
I'm thinking that we cannot spill the fish out of the pond.
All right.
Let's just keep them guessing what next, or maybe they just suggest.
Yeah, definitely.
And,
They suggest as well.
Yeah, and besides, we have more episodes on different topics, right?
Yeah, definitely.
That are going to come up, and like you said, more people that are going to come with nuggets to inspire. We have all sorts of things that are lined up for the program.
Definitely.
And they'll be seeing, more of this. Maybe they want another film. Who knows?
Definitely. It's coming. It's cooking.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Continue to check our social media pages, our handles, for more information. If you want to be part of the podcast, or if you want to be, part of the filmmaking, get in touch with us, and we'll definitely respond back to you.
Definitely.
So, we are saying it's goodbye for now, and thank you.
Goodbye, guys. Thank you.